these, it looks like. Great.
It's 30 minutes, right?
Yes.
Okay. For me to
And then Q&A after, and then feel free to prompt us or bring up anything else that we might have missed.
because I like to talk about dentistry.
And also, just so you
You
know,
haven't noticed.
we record and we have folks that are, of course, with us, but then also it's really important to us to keep this up on our YouTube channel and within our social media platforms. And folks will download it later with the time changes and everything. We find that these have a lot of shelf life. So we really want to make sure people have access to it, even if they couldn't make it to this. So for us, it's really getting the information out. So if we don't get a lot of participation question-wise, I'll also be trying to think of things people have been asking me, which is quite a bit. There's a lot of chatter and conversation about dentistry. It's definitely a topic that once people settle in, then they're like, oh, I need to figure this out.
Are we on Facebook and Instagram live too, or just YouTube live? I forgot to ask. I think Facebook.
YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
Okay,
So
all three you're live on.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So we're doing that, and I think we're live right now. So now we will just give folks a couple of minutes to jump in, and then we'll be able to get started. But I'm excited. We've been talking about this. When did we meet, Julian? It was the summer, right?
Wow, I think so. Yeah, we met over the summer, and then you were just about a month or so off to going to Austin, so you were just in the weeds trying to catch up with all that and that together. And then you came back, and one thing after another, your father, and so just I can't believe we're 6 months later. We're doing this.
I know, but it's good. You're kicking off our 2024 education, so this is a great way to start. And I think that we'll circle back to. We do get a lot of folks that will inquire and they'll want to know more. And it's always great just to get the word out.
And we're looking forward to doing some packages with you. I did send an email off to you about that. So I'm excited to explore that aspect for 2020.
Yep. And our team was very interested, like we were talking about before. They were like, wait, can we participate if we live in Portugal? It's like, yes, you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to be out of the country. You can, I'm sure Dr. Clara would welcome us if we were living right here. So it's a little easier for us. We would be able to go home to our own bed, right? So, not so bad. That's one of my favorite things. It's an hour and 20 minutes from my front door to where I want to go in Lisbon. So it's really nice.
Us, that's a huge time.
Oh my gosh, for me that's nothing.
Our notion of distance is completely different. 1 hour.
No, it's amazing because where we used to live in Portland, Oregon, for me to leave my house, because I flew all the time for work, I would have to give myself an hour and a half minimum to get from my house to the airport. And it was terrible traffic. It was stop and go the whole way. By the time I got onto the freeway to the airport, it could be 2 hours. You'd have to give yourself more time. Here, it's like open roads. There's no traffic. You're just like going down the road, and it's amazing. So not only is it an easy drive, but it's also like, it's really relaxing. You don't have cars weaving in and out and people yelling at you. And so I really appreciate driving in Portugal. It's much more.
Well, we have a little bit in Lisbon, but I would say only Lisbon and Oporto, and I would say so.
And your Lisbon traffic on its worst day is like a normal day where I was from. And I lived in LA for a while. So after driving in Los Angeles and everything, it was just, Lisbon's great.
Yeah. That's a long.
We can't complain.
No, traffic is not bad. So I think should we go ahead and get started? I think we will. We've got some folks signing in, and hello and welcome to everyone that's joining us. If you want to kick off with our start, I think we can get going. All right, let me set my computer so I can read. All right, so welcome everyone. I am really excited for another session to talk about dental tourism and dentistry in Portugal. My name is Colleen, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Portugal The Place. We are just thrilled to be able to welcome our folks tonight. Hey, Wendy, hi. Wendy signed on, so she's one of our folks soon to be here. And we are a team that are available to help you make a soft landing when you want to move to Portugal. So our job is to help you with whatever you need to get here and get going as soon as possible. So from location scouting to find that perfect part of Portugal, to helping you buy a car, to helping you navigate all the different small things that are going to crop up, from education to moving your pet. Our team is here to help you with that. And part of that is getting information to you that you need and making sure that it's open sourced and available so everyone can get all their questions answered and find out what they're looking for when they are coming to Portugal. So without any further ado, I've got Julian here. We are so excited. She is the co-founder of Dental Destinations, and I am going to go ahead and toss that over to you, Julian, so you can take it from here.
Thanks, Colleen, and thank you so much for having us today. I'm really happy to be here, and I love what you do. And honestly, I moved here around the same time you did, and I wish you were here to have that service, because it is kind of a minefield if you don't have that opportunity to have somebody kind of guide you through that. So I love what you're doing, and we are happy to be affiliated with you. And I know your standards are incredibly high, so we're honored to be here. And I'm the co-founder of Dental Destinations Portugal, which we'll get into a little bit more at the end about what we do with our services and how we help people that also need that soft landing as it comes down to dentistry or facial harmonization. And I'm so happy to have one of my favorite dentists here from our team. We're very select in who we work with. We work with 3 clinics in Lisbon, and we're about to open up Porto. I think it's my second quarter this year. So Dr. Claire is one of my favorites, and I'm going to turn it over to her. And she has a wealth of knowledge. She is highly, highly respected in her field and really one of the top dentists here in the country. So Dr. Claire, on that note, I'm going to let you jump on in.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for the invitation. I'm really glad to share a little with you one of my passions, that is dentistry. So I imagine, because we were talking a little bit before starting, that people come here and we are Latins, and we are sometimes a little disorganized. And so I can't imagine how is it to come to a new country and needing dental work and being afraid of how do doctors work here, how do the clinics work. And so my role here today is to talk to you a little bit about the reality of dentistry in Portugal, and I'm going to talk to you about my reality and the reality that we built here at my practice, and to try to explain you how things work, how things are organized, what you can find when you go to a dentist, okay, in general, and what are the justifications that you may have to trust the doctors in general in Portugal, but especially the dentists. So I'm going to start by talking a little bit about how we get our university degrees and how our professional association, the Portuguese Dentist Association works, how our European and national regulations impose very strict rules when you want to open a dental practice or a dental office, okay? Then how can you access to dental care, and what kind of clinics, big groups, small practices, what are the main differences that you will probably find, and a little bit inspired by our experience with Julian and Dental Destinations. What are the main differences that you will probably find with the Portuguese dentists in general? So let's go. So, dental education in Portugal, you can be a dentist by 2 different ways. And if you get an older dentist, let me control my time because I love to talk about dentistry. If you get an older doctor, maybe he has a different approach. So you can be a dentist, and it's my case. If you get into a dental school, okay, directly after finishing your high school graduation, and our first dentistry university opened in 1975, so it's a pretty recent university. And you can also be a dentist by being first a doctor, and then you have your university training, and then being a specialist in stomatologist. Then you can be an odontologist, and there are some training courses, and the practice is a little bit limited. And then you can also be called a dental surgeon. Usually, it's the name that we give, for instance, to Brazilian dentists, because they come from a different country, and the rules are a little different. University training used to be 6 years, so it was really hard, and really hard work, and really scientifically demanding. Now, after the Bologna Convention, that tried to get the teaching, the university teaching uniformization in Europe, now we pass on to 5 years. So, to be a dentist here in Portugal, and to be able to practice, you have to have a subscription in a Portuguese Dental Association. Usually, well, now we have good training happening in Portugal. When I started, I've been a dentist for 20 years. So when I started working, we had to go to outside Portugal to do our training. But usually, Portuguese dentists, almost all Portuguese dentists, did an experience outside our borders. We have some official specialities, like orthodontics, oral surgery, pediatric dentistry, and periodontics. And then we have the non-official specialties, because usually, and in many clinics, you will find several doctors, and each doctor usually only works at his field or her field of expertise. So we have oral rehabilitation, aesthetic dentistry, occlusion, orofacial harmonization, that I know it's a thing, it's a discipline that usually dentists don't do in the US. Actually, it's a trend now for the last 2 or 3 years, and endodontics. So our Portuguese Dental Association statistics. So now, actually, in the present, we are approximately 12,000 dentists. 61% of those dentists are female doctors. So women are most of the dentists that you will find. It was not usual 20 years ago. I remember when I started working, and my field of expertise is implant dentistry and surgery. Some more older men were suspicious about if women would be able to do this profession, but now the statistics speaks for itself. So it's actually a pretty young profession. So 70% of the dentists are under 45. 65, most of the clinics, more than half of the clinics, have up to 2 dental chairs. So this is one big difference comparing to the US, where usually you will find bigger dental offices. So most of the dentists operate in their own business. It's my case. I work in my own business, and I work also in a private hospital. And for the statistics says that why people become a dentist. And so most of the dentists find that the greatest benefits about the profession is to have a quality of life, that to be able to improve. So I was telling before that we work by love, and we really do, most of the dentists. So improve the quality of our patients is one of the most important things professionally for us. Human interaction is also very important. This is a statistic that our dental association does every year. So these answers are dentists' answer, actually. And most of people end up choosing a dentist because they trust, so probably by reference, and first trust, and only after the dentist's technical skills. My occlusion is terrible today. Feeling my muscles. Have to talk to my colleague. So One of the things that why we can assure you that most of the offices that you will find here in Portugal have really good conditions and everything is really clean and modern is that when we want to open a practice, we have very strict regulations. So we have to fulfill 9 bullets, 9 checkpoints that we need to have when we want to open a practice. So these regulations are actually very strict. So we have a lot of licenses. We have to have certain dimensions. The ceilings have to be to have a certain height. The ventilation has a lot of rules. All our equipment and sterilization process have to be very well designed. We have to have a very well trained medical team. Everybody has to be legal, of course, and to get a subscription and to be a part of the Portuguese Dental Association, for instance, for the foreigners, is not easy. It's a process that you have to probably spend 1 or 2 years studying here. So our residues are always we all also need a license, and we have to separate everything. And we have one of the most strict laws about the radiation protection also. So this is one of the reasons why I think that we are very trustful, okay? Because and it's good for us because it was not here, it was not like this 15 years ago, but it's now it is. So I think it's a really it's an issue that brings our especially foreign patients that don't know our traditions to get to know us. One of the other things that now is turning the Portuguese doctors and the Portuguese dentists, it's unfortunately people, well, not my age, probably younger people, were started to go abroad to work. And now everybody wants to work with Portuguese dentists and Portuguese doctors because of our values and of our technical skills and of our training. So I guess we start being very well seen in Europe. So the good work that we do abroad is the good work that we also do here. And for the patients, how to access dental care. So this slide I put here because sometimes people are in a foreign country, don't know Colleen, and maybe people can get a little lost. So we have different types of clinics that you will find when you go and find a dentist. So we have the dental group clinics where usually, so we have some 2 or 3 usually for investments. So you will find in to the 12 cities, 20 cities, and you will find always the same treatment. Usually they do a strict treatment plan and you have to pay for it, and then you have to do all the treatment plan from the beginning until the end. Then you have private practices that are smaller clinics, and it has, as we saw on our statistics, most of the clinics are this one, like mine. So majority of dental care in Portugal are those clinics that you are going to find. Some clinics are still working in general dentistry, so every doctors do everything, but many clinics, and I would say more than 50% of the clinics, you will find several doctors that have several fields of expertise. Here we have one doctor that goes with the patient along the way, but then we have a team and we have team meetings about clinical cases. So the idea is that we can give our patient more directed treatment. So Nobody is able to do everything perfectly. So our field of expertise is what we do best. For instance, here we started doing endodontic treatments with a microscope, and I'm really happy and really fulfilled to tell my patients, okay, I can do this treatment, but my colleague will do it much better than me. So you can rest assured that all the teams usually have a good relation, and so the patient won't feel like I told one thing to the other doctor and I have to explain it all over again, because we also have to be very strict about the registrations that we'll do in the patient's clinical file. In Portugal, in the national health, and we are going through a major and very sad crisis in the present. You can find some dentists working at the national, so probably you will get a consultation for free, but in very few clinical centers. What the state gives you is what we call check dentista. So it's the translation would be a dentist check, where you can go to many private clinics, and the state will pay for your treatment. Those treatments are more directed to children, for prevention, and some people that need special dental care, people with pathologies, very old people, people with few resources. And you can also find treatments at the hospital. Some hospitals have a stomatology service, but it's also difficult, and probably you will have to wait a lot of time, and they don't do all of the treatment. So the idea at the hospital is that you don't die of a dental disease. So probably the doctor will treat the infection, for instance, and then we'll ask the patient, and we'll reference the patient to a dentist. And this is so that we are all dentists, and we all work in clinics, but it's a little bit different from, and this is our reality. So main difference about Portuguese dentistry, and we were talking about a little bit before starting the live, and those slides were did together with Julian, and with our patients that come from abroad, and our foreign patients that are living here, the information that they give us. So usually the dentists in Portugal they give more emphasis on preventive care. So Julian was talking to me that in New York all the dentists were wanting to do the appointments very fast, and they wanted to everybody has to have a Hollywood smile, and so patients sometimes feel it's true, Julian, it told me. Here we have more the family doctor approach. So we see the patient as a whole. So if the patient comes to us with a dental pain, probably the dentist that you will find will do a full scan of your oral health. We watch for all the teeth, for the muscles, for the joint, for the a little dermatologic pathology. Okay, so I think this is one of the differences from the distant from the other the American dentist. One of other things that, and we started doing that because we were few, now we are too many, but that's another theme. We try to educate our patients, because we have a lot of teeth in our mouth, and so the problem that you have in one teeth probably you will have in other. So sometimes when patients come to us, they've already started working and started working on the problem, started biting to the other side, starting doing a painkiller to see if the inflammation gets lower before coming to the dentist. And this is because we like to do an education of our patients of the pathology. And that happens also when we do a procedure. Before doing the procedure, probably we will educate and explain how is it done, if it's with local anesthetic, what will we do, and feel free to ask us, because all the dentists were like me, I really love to explain, and the patient doesn't want to hear. The patient well, it's a little joke, but it's true, because people are still very afraid, and people just, oh no, I don't want details, just tell me if it hurts and how much it costs. So you probably will find dentists that like to educate on the procedures. Sometimes in some treatment plans, the dentist will give you one or two options for your treatment, for instance, and explain the differences between imagine fixed prostheses or removable prostheses. Okay, the do's and don'ts of each one, the advantages and disadvantages. So this is one of the things that we noticed. It's not hard if you ask for your dental files and report, any doctor will give it to you. The principle is that you in private practices, you pay for it, so it's your right. You just ask, and probably the doctor will send you very briefly by email, because most of the clinics are working on digital workflow. So one other thing that you will find here very frequently is that we the importance we give to health over aesthetics. It's a huge importance. So of course, many times people try to look for us and visit us, trying to improve their aesthetics. Probably you won't find a dentist here in Portugal that will do a lot of veneers and whitening before treating the cavity or the pathology that you have on a molar, for instance. And this is what usually it's what you will find. Now, this topic I love, because people say that we are more gentle, and we have a more caring approach, and probably will find it in dentists, you will find in other doctors, you will find it from the woman in the grocery store. It's part of our culture. We really usually welcome people. Oh, Wendy, we will talk about it in a while, okay? About dental insurance. And other thing that we really work well is the management of anxiety. So we don't push people to do general anesthesia or sedation, because, and you can do it, of course, all people have access to that, but most of the times we really try to get people relaxed, try to understand what are people's fears, and try to, for me, it's a part of the job that I really love. It's to transform people, and to see a patient that comes very anxious, and after the third and the fourth appointment just enters, says, oh doctor, today we have to do a quick treatment. And I always make it, oh, so now it's that, no, not a tear, not anything. And people, it's important for us, and it's a part of the job that usually Portuguese dentists do really well. Okay. So we were talking a little bit about this. Technology and equipment is typically more advanced, so we like and I was telling about how Portuguese dentists got into digital workflow before the rest of the Europe. Okay, and so you will find digital radiographs almost everywhere, good and new equipments. Oh, another detail, very, very funny, that is that teeth are numbered differently. But I have to say that it's only in the US that the number is different. All the rest of the world has the international numbering. So it's a thing that you have to be aware of. Usually, we prefer implants over bridging, and it's a very technical issue, because you lose bone if you don't put an implant. And here in this side and here in Europe, you will find, for instance, the implants treatments. We are very conservative. So if we can treat the problem with 2 implants, we won't place 4. Okay, so we have a very conservative approach. We don't love whitening toothpastes, okay? So they are good, but they are very abrasive, and it's part of our conservative approach to our patients. And it's very common, and we and Dr. Katerina shared with us today earlier. You will find very good dentists doing Botox and fillers, and they are very common, and dentists do a really nice work. Huge and a lot of differences. Well, you will have to try by yourself. So I guess now we will talk about, we will end. Oh, okay. The costs. Well, most of the treatments are approximately less than a half what you people that patients are used to pay in the US. So don't be scared, because we have all the strict regulations. You will find very well trained doctors and very advanced technology. We work on with the best materials. Okay, so it's a thing that some people, when we talk about price, the first approach will be, wow, how is this so cheap? Well, it has to do with our incomes and what we have to do so that the Portuguese patients can access to dentistry. So here are some examples, and you will see that the cost is a lot inferior, but the quality is good. So we have all of those the examples. So Julian was telling that they asked her husband, Julian, 4,000 or 5,000 euros.
Oh, yeah. My husband had a 2-step root canal with the microscope. He had an emergency one, and it was $5,000. And he came here, and it was a fraction.
Paid is 500 or 600, and probably not so much, not that much. So this is one of the main differences, and we have several examples like you can see. And we also do well the prices for Botox and fillers and all of the aesthetic treatments. They are also the cost is much lower than in US. So answering to Wendy, our insurance coverage is a little bit different. So that kind of insurance where you go to the private practice and you don't pay anything, usually we don't have it here. So usually what we do, so you have two different coverage of the insurance. So you can have a real insurance, and the most common are Medis, Advanced-Care, Multicare, and Allianz. And you will pay for, usually the dental procedures is a part. So you pay a fee a month, and then you will have a price chart that usually is lower than the private clinic ones, okay? And then let me give an example. So we charge, imagine 90 euros for a normal resin filling. And probably by Advanced Care, the price chart would be, imagine, I don't know by heart, 50 euros. So you have your first discount. But then if you have a plafond to use in dental procedures, from that value, the 40 euros, you will only pay, imagine, 10 or 20. And then the insurance company will pay to the doctor the rest. Then you have another kind of dental coverage that are dental plans. And what you have here is that the office doesn't get anything from the insurance company, and so you will have a lower price. So again, coming to that example, so remember that we have a 90 euros for a filling in a private, we would have 50 euros in an insurance company. And if you have a dental plan, imagine that you pay 40. But from that 40 euros, you have to pay 100%. So it's kind of a discount chart. So you have a lot of insurance companies, and a lot of clinics work with insurance companies. So it will be very easy and very, very easy to find an insurance company. Then we have our other clinics that don't work with insurance companies, but if you send the invoice of what you paid, probably the insurance company will pay you and will return you a part of the investment. Okay, so that kind of insurance companies we have it, but with foreigners. Usually, people pay and then the insurance will pay people, but you always have to pay. Probably you will always have to pay a fee, even if it's, imagine, 10 euros. Okay, and this is usually how insurance companies work here. And then you can also have some discount by partnership, and we have imagine that sometimes clinics have it with some store or some sports club, or even the municipal, imagine, with a paddle club. And you can also find, usually this is a percentage of discounts regarding our private fee. Wendy, I think was it clear? If you did understand anything, please, I'm here to help you with all these practical issues. So
I'm just going to add in one thing, Dr. Claire, sorry to interrupt, because we have found with our clients that some American insurance companies, if they have dental care, will cover some of the costs in Portugal when they're coming over, but you do need.
so this is remember that I was talking about that we now have a study group. Okay, Wendy, thank you for clearing us. This is one of the things that our government is working on, is doing partnerships with the insurance companies so that people can come to Portugal and do it. Usually, from my experience, it's a matter of sending a report with the x-rays. And usually the idea that I have is that international insurance companies pay the patients for the treatments, because we send all the information and all the reports and are really clear. So I don't think that it's an issue for international insurance companies. Okay, so now I was decided to give you my top dental care tips. So first, prevention is the key. It's always better to do a filling instead of a crown, and to do a crown instead of an implant. And here we have a very conservative approach. So it's very important. If you will, the idea of doing the dental checkups is that we find and we are able to treat the problems while they are simple, they are easy, and they don't have a big cost, not a money cost, and then the well-being cost. Okay, so it's always better for us to treat, to be able to do that. Please go to the dentist, do the checkup, do the dental hygiene. Okay, it's much easier, and you will prevent a lot of unpleasant moments here at the office and in you. So it's very important to know your anatomy and your genetics. So people, why do some people don't go to the dentist for 10 years, and then when they come they don't have issues? They have the genetics. So if it's not your case, you have to be even more careful. So it's very important for you to know your body, and to know, for instance, we have several dental hygiene techniques, and they are not the same for everybody. So here we do a work of adapting the hygiene techniques. So know yourself, know your anatomy, and know your genetics. Health first. Okay, so no, even today I had a patient that was with a toothache, and it's no tooth problem you treat with medication. So you always have to do an intervention. So when it hurts, come right away. Don't expect to hurt a lot, and don't expect if you are not able to sleep, because the sooner we treat the problems, the better, and the easier and ease for us, and of course to the patient, for you. So The importance of aesthetics. So in the present, I think that the smile and having a beautiful smile has a very important socially and professionally. And we have a lot of patients that are that come to us, and one of the reasons that they don't, oh, I want to have a beautiful smile. No, I have to have a beautiful smile because I speak in public. My work is with public, and so it's very important because it gives you the impression that you care about yourself, and you worry about yourself. And so professionally, if you worry about yourself, you will probably worry about your company and about your client and about the people that we are talking to. So our concept and the concept to work, it's a holistic approach. So first the patient comes to us, and we work as a kind of, well, not a kind of, we are really health consultants. So the patient comes to us, we do a thorough and full scan with x-rays and photographs, and we will tell the patient what the patient needs to do. And only afterwards we will tell the patient what the patient can do to improve aesthetics and the image. It's our concept. So here are some examples, and the technology allows us to do wonderful things like we see on the first picture. This patient, this work that we did, it was all done in the same day. The patient was in a wheelchair, so we adapted everything, and so we are very advanced. It was a Portuguese dentist that developed one of the techniques that is called all on four. Not my favorite, I have to confess, but we can do a lot of good things for you, even if it's with whitening, with dentistry. Okay, and here are some examples. And here I am, if you have any questions.
That was really great. Thank you for going through all of that in such detail. So, Dr. Claire, just to make sure I understand, your practice is in Lisbon, but you feel like what you were presenting would apply in most cases to professional practices. So if someone lived in Porto or someone was, down in the Algarve, they should be able to find a similar type of approach. You feel like that's truly the Portuguese style?
Here at my practice, we have a very particular concept. Okay, I talked to you a little bit at the end of the presentation. The idea here was to prepare foreign people when they go to the dentist. So I would say that in general, it's what you will find.
And so one of the things you were touching on was that it seems like there's a lot of individual specialties that dentists in Portugal can really go in. So for your practice, do you have, if someone wants to come to you, are there certain folks that can come to your services and then there's others that you don't focus on? Like, for example, if someone just needed a simple thing like cleanings or a filling, do you focus more on the implants? How does that work?
Well, it's my field of expertise, but we work as a team. So we are 7 doctors here at Dental Care Lisboa. We are a small practice, so we really have to work really well together. And today with technology, it's very easy. We don't even have to meet. We just put a WhatsApp group and to talk about that patient, and every doctor gives their insight. So now we are covering all the specialties of dentistry.
That's fantastic. Does anyone have any other questions or anything that we want to put forward? I know, Wendy, you had the insurance question. Anything else that's coming top of mind for anyone?
I want to have Dr. Claire opine on this, because I know you mentioned that they are more conservative here, and that's what I love about dentistry, whether it's facial harmonization or dentistry, just that there's a more natural approach, so you don't come out looking like you have these fake chiclet teeth. So that you're really in that
one
sense.
of the things that I really often tell to my patients, and especially to American patients, when imagine people want to do whitening, I would say, "Oh yes, let's put your teeth white, European white, not toilet white." So we always try to even the Botox and fillings. The idea is that people have a natural look. Okay, so we want other people to look at our patient and say, oh, you have a really beautiful smile. We don't want people to say, oh, you have a very good dentist.
Yes, that makes sense.
The
So,
idea is to do a aesthetic, but natural aesthetic. And most of the dentists here, well, you won't find those dentists, and some dentists love toilet white, and most of the times patients pressure us, but here, so it's always a joke that I do. We do white teeth, but European white.
So Julie, can you tell us, I think we mentioned before, and I want to stress again that with your services, if you live in Portugal or if you're considering relocating here, or if you're in the process, it doesn't matter where you are, you can contact Dental Destinations, right? Can you tell us a little more how that works?
Yes, we're Dental Destinations Portugal, because there is actually another company, Dental Destinations, but they're different, but we specialize just in Portugal, because you know what, it's a great country, and that's why we really wanted to bring this country to the market. A lot of people, as we mentioned earlier, go to Mexico or Costa Rica or Turkey, but we saw the potential here because, as you can see from Dr. Clara's presentation, just how educated they are here, and the technology is more advanced. My own personal experience with dentistry here has been amazing, and I'm a big chicken like you, and I've been so impressed. And coming from New York, it's kind of hard to top that bar, and they have. So we wanted to bring it to the market, and we wanted to bring the best dentists to clients coming here from abroad, and then we've expanded into locally. So we were fortunate to meet you, and we realized, well, we're expats. We know how hard it is to find dentists. We should be offering that to our local groups as well. So we have vetted out the dentists, and there are very good dentists here, but not all are as fluent in English as one would like, or there's receptionists aren't, or you have challenges with the staff, or they don't get back to you as quickly. So we wanted to make sure that the bar was set high for the clinics that we work with, so they would get that good experience with great service, great attention, great dentistry. So we take the pain out of the process. So if you're coming from abroad, and you just want to, whether you're scouting or just coming anyway for vacation, we can line you up based on your needs. You fill out a form, we'll do a complimentary call with one of the dentists. They'll go through your x-rays and photos that you'll provide us just to have a consultation and see what it is that you need done, and take it from there. We'll help you through the process of facilitating appointments, questions you may have about travel. We have a guide to help you when you get here, so you know what to expect. So we don't want you to have surprises, little things like how to use the ATM, right, and the driver pick you up, make the process simple. But if you're a local here and you don't want to have to do the digging, we've done the digging for you. So that's another form you would just send to us. Send us again the x-rays, or you can just deal with those directly at the clinic. We'll make the introduction to you personally with the dentist, the clinic director, so they can go ahead and have a firsthand knowledge of you. We have priority access with our dentists, so we can get you in a bit quicker, and we just take care of that for you. We are not going to send you a bill for our service for doing that. We work especially with international clients as the kind of their international care coordinators for the dentists, because they're so busy they don't have time to always deal with the 9 million questions that can come up. Insurance and this and that, and passports and visas, and all that stuff that does come up. So, that was a very long answer to a short question.
We'll make sure to get your website up so that anyone that would like to get the information on how to work with you, you just go to your website. There's a form if they live locally, correct, that they can go in and fill out, and then from there you'll take it from there. And I think Mimi had a question earlier about, do we need to bring our dental records from the US?
If you can, when we do the initial presentation or initial consultation, if you're coming internationally, you don't live here, if you can get your dentist to send them digitally to you, that is best. I know sometimes that's hard with US dentists. There's other ways to try to work around that. There are some files you can get converted. If you have a CD, we can work with that. But if you're here locally and you haven't had your x-rays in a while, you're probably going to need new ones anyway. But anything that you can send in advance, from your scans to your x-rays, will certainly be helpful.
And
well, sorry to interrupt. For us as doctors, the more information we get, the better. And one of the services that we can provide, because people are staying here for, imagine, 1, 2, 3 years, and then they go to other country. Well, this is a mobility issue that we have to face. So for us, it's very important at the end of the treatment, or when the patient leaves us, to send a report with all the treatments that were done, okay? Because the other doctor that comes up, that's what I like that the other doctors did with me. So the more information, sometimes it's really important for the diagnosis to know what was done before. So every information that you can provide us from your former doctor is really important. But it's not mandatory. We can do all the x-rays and we can hear the reports and just try to get there.
And Julian, I think Carol wants to just make sure, I know that Carol's here in El Cabasa, for example. So if she wanted to use your services, she'd be able to jump in and fill out that form. And
send us the form, Carol, and we'll just go ahead and we'll have a general idea of kind of what you're looking for, whether it's facial aesthetics or maybe it's implantology or whatever you need based on your concerns. We have 3 clinics, 3 fabulous clinics we work with here. And each of them have, as Dr. Claire's mentioned, their own team within that clinic. So between those 3, we've got you covered in Lisbon, and we're going to be looking at opening up Porto quarter this year. We don't have clinics in Tavaira or the smaller villages. We are just in the cities at the moment.
So, and that's fine. For us living like on the Silver Coast, for example, Lisbon is so close. Many of us go down and have our medical appointments in Lisbon anyway. We make a day of it. You go down, you have a chance to go shop and eat and have something happen and come back. Being Portugal for Americans is small. It's very easy for us to get around. I know perspective wise for me, an hour is like, oh, that's easy. I know for others, it may seem like a long way, but I think as those of us that have relocated as immigrants, we really love the proximity of everything in Portugal, and Lisbon's really easy to get to and access. I think this has been fantastic. I know for me, the biggest thing that you've opened my eyes to is the fact that it seems like you've really taken some of the stigma out of being afraid of the dentist. There's just an acknowledgement of the fact that this is a real thing that human beings have, and that you talk about it, and that you encourage people to come in and be who they are and be upfront with where they're at and treat it in the moment, as opposed to kind of being afraid to share everything you need. And that holistic approach, for me, the last couple of seminars have really given me a different approach to the health and how that connects to your teeth and your face and all the other pieces of it. So thank you. It was fantastic. Dr. Clara, you are awesome. That was so much fun. I could learn so much from you. I think that there's just a kindness that has come through in these webinars that has just really been a confirmation of what I've experienced personally and what I believe comes across here in Portugal. So really appreciate it. We're so excited. This will all be up live. Again, for anyone that's out there, please go to our social media. We have the website. We will be uploading it on all of our different channels. It'll be on our YouTube. And I really encourage you to reach out to Dental Destinations Portugal to make sure that if you have any questions, you need help, and if there's anything we can do as well, please feel free to reach out to Portugal the Place and the team. So thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Colleen. Thank you, Dr. Clara.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Clara. Bye, guys.